Hi, comic friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm the disembodied voice.
And this is...
Monster Comic Review.
Look, that was so passionate.
I jumped on it because last time
That was so passionate.
Monster Comic Review! Is that better?
Sure.
Awesome.
This is for comics for the week of June 25th, 2016. A whole bunch of Rebirth books, basically.
Yay.
In some sense or another. So, jump right in.
All right.
So this is Action Comics number 958.
Okay.
Go ahead, say it. I couldn't get into this comic because I didn't start at number 1. And I needed to read from number 1 clear to 957
Yeah,
before
we'll have to go back and get all of those. No, I think the Rebirth thing kind of did that for us. You know, I'm not a ginormous Superman fan, but I like this book.
I enjoy it too. My things about it that finding some version of Doomsday is not my cup of tea per se. I mean they just the Rebirth issue definitely billed Doomsday as being bad news, even if you don't know Superman's history. They show the fact that in the Rebirth issue that he was killed. This version of Superman was killed by Doomsday. And what's the first thing they're fighting? Is Doomsday. Of course, granted, in this issue they hint a little bit that maybe this isn't actually Doomsday or something different about him because this Doomsday uses tactics. The Doomsday he fought didn't use tactics.
Right.
So I really wanted the book to be about him in honest-to-God conflict with Lex Luthor. Not, I don't like Lex Luthor, but, well, he's actually being okay right now, so...
Yeah.
I'm ready for Lex Luthor to be done being the hero, you know? Go back to being Lex Luthor. One thing that is intriguing about this also, really, is the fact that we've got this Superman, which is Superman before Earth 52. I mean, before the New 52. He's back in Superman because the New 52 Superman died, was killed. So he's flying around as Superman. And we have Clark Kent.
Yeah, nobody knows what.
And they're literally there at the exact same time. So when I say they got Clark Kent too, they're literally two. Actually are two different people.
Right. And nobody understands what Clark Kent is.
I mean, and Jimmy Olsen's there, and New 52 Clark Kent confided in Jimmy Olsen that he was Superman. They all know he's Superman, so that'll be interesting. Who is he? Is he the New 52? Is he the New 52 Superman? Come back, because he kind of says, "I can't do that. I can't be that." Not that he never was that, but that he can't be. So that's the part of the story I'm actually interested in.
I'm also interested in his son, even though this issue didn't have anything about his
That's
son's...
Superman.
Oh, you're right. Okay, never mind.
The son's in this one, but he's more like an audience member.
Yeah, he's watching
he's at home going, "Oh no!" You're thinking about Superman.
Yes, you're right.
Which is a whole different comic,
okay.
which is awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
so,
but I'm not enjoying this. I mean, it's been fun.
No.
It's fun.
It's
and this is a book at discount. I'm happy to read.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
Even double shipped at discount. I'm happy to read it. It's not. If I wasn't getting a discount, I would be inclined not to read it. I probably will keep reading this for a while.
All right.
So I'll be doing.
Fair enough.
Anything else to say about it?
Nope.
Aquaman issue number 1.
Better than the
Rebirth?
Oh my gosh, I really did not enjoy it.
Right, we talked about that last time we did it. We did one of these. We talked Rebirth.
But
the Rebirth Aquaman.
We did not review that. That was the week we didn't review comics.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't really talk about how very annoying I was with it.
Yes,
so
we don't need to talk about
This is
that.
better. I don't love it, but I enjoyed it far more than that first one. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
I enjoyed this issue. I thought this issue tons better than the Rebirth thing, because we actually just have a story here. I think they do a good job of at the very beginning of this of him and Mira. We get an understanding of kind of what their relationship is like, the two of them together.
Yeah,
and we get kind of a mission statement at the beginning of what their goals are. So we know what they're up to. We know what they're doing. They're not just wandering the sea aimlessly or something like that. They feel a desperate need, or Aquaman feels a desperate need to make there be some level of trust, of give and take between the Atlanteans and the people who walk the land, because he feels like they're at a tipping point of things can get really dangerous really fast. The Atlanteans do not trust the people on the land, and the people on the land are afraid of the Atlanteans. You know, the Chinese sent a nuclear submarine down looking for them. It got really close to being dicey, so they want to fix all of that. Way to do that, they open up an embassy. Now they invite people to come to the embassy. Some people are going to be permanent residents at the embassy, so we get introduced to a new character.
Assigned.
Yeah, she's from the Royal Navy. She's British. She's assigned to the place. So I'm curious about that character. I kind of like that character.
Yeah, me too. Not that she keeps saying Royal Navy, and then she's like, well, British Navy.
Right, because they're royalty, you know? And I love the fact that Mira knows she's studied everything to go, no, call it Royal Navy. You guys have been the naval force for, you know, since the, you know, 1700 whatever, you know, use it. Which I think is cool, because I mean, that's the Queen basically saying, hey, I got no problem with you saying that, you know, using royalty and whatnot, and she was all concerned that was, you know, that might be some sort of cultural, you know, rift or whatever.
And then there's the whole food thing, you know, they're serving Atlantean food.
So it's sea cucumbers and that sort of thing, whatever. And of course we get the bad guy in it. I like Black Manta. You can roll your eyes, or disembodied eyes. I like Black Manta. You've got to beef with him because he horribly narrated the Rebirth issue.
Yes, and I guess for me, because I've really watched a lot of
Super Friends?
Yes, and really also just all of the Justice League cartoons. I mean,
okay.
And considering the fact that our youngest child watches them repeatedly.
Yes.
And it feels like it's Aquaman, therefore the bad guy is Black Manta. It's Superman, so the bad guy is Lex Luthor and Doomsday.
So you're saying that's kind of a criticism of Rebirth books across the board? They're just pulling out the... If we see Joker show up in Batman, we're all going to go...
No, please no. Joker.
Why is it that it feels like they're going for the big guns right away instead of building something? I can see that in a sense. In this issue with Black Manta, though, he's not trying to kill Arthur. He's trying to totally
expose him and destroy his reputation.
Right. So it's different.
And I'm sure that everybody wants to know why Black Manta is calling
him a murderer.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's new or not, because of course I don't read Aquaman. Yeah, I haven't read Aquaman since he had hair that was about this long
and a hook hand.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like Mira.
It's okay. I'm not a big Aquaman fan. That never have been. It's on a shorter list of when the discount starts going away or whatever, that I'm just not enthused by that character. So unless something really gripping comes, I mean, it was a fine comic. Don't have a problem with it. If something really gripping doesn't happen, though, when my discount fades, it's a book that will fade away too, just because I'm just not super excited about Aquaman. Fine with him in the Justice League or whatever when he turns up in those sorts of and things and whatnot, but just read a Aquaman story, I'm not super interested. But I did like this first issue. This first issue set a good tone for where the book might go to and what's going on. So.
And I like the whole embassy idea. And
Yeah.
I like the fact that Mira is interested in doing these things because she knows that Arthur is a man of two nations, and it will be helpful to him emotionally too to have this two nations join.
Right.
Okay, I see you're holding Batman Detective Comics.
Yes, Batman Detective Comics issue 935. Second issue, just like the Action Comics.
Yes, exactly.
Of the new stuff, of the new old stuff.
You want to?
I'm really enjoying Detective Comics. At this point, Tynan the Fourth is doing a great job of giving us these characters, kind of giving us a background to them to some degree. That I enjoy. Of course, I love Batwoman. It's the perfect kind of a role for Batwoman. If you're going to incorporate her into the Bat family, this is the perfect role for her to have, as being kind of the drill sergeant sort of a thing. So I like that aspect of it. There's one part in here that I didn't really care for, and it's not just because it's Tim Drake, who I'm not a big Tim Drake fan. I know there's a huge bunch of people who are. I missed the 90s when he had his own series and whatnot, and so I've just never been that invested in him. And to me, he's always kind of annoying, know-it-all kind of a deal, so not excited about him as far as that goes. He has this conversation with Batman, and Batman basically goes, "You've always been a Robin."
Yeah.
the only thing I can ascertain of that whole conversation is that's for all the old fans. That's not for anybody who's new reading the book. You know, it's not for the old people who don't care about Tim Drake. That is for those Tim Drake fans to get them back in the fold. It has to be, otherwise it makes it that and to set up the guilt trip thing that he can now feel, where he could go off to school and get super educated and maybe help lots of people that way, or he can stay being Red Robin because Batman wants him to be this lieutenant kind of guy as the go-between for the new people and stuff. That was the only part of it that I didn't care for. But I like the idea of this book. I like, you know, Clayface.
Oh yeah, I like Clayface. I like the fact that they're giving him more personality than he's
right.
had when I've been exposed to him. I'm not, you know, super Clayface educated, but
Right.
I like the fact that he feels like maybe with the little dampening device they gave him that he might be able to hold his shape, and I think that's cool.
But I'm excited by the book. Because I love the characters. They're not being written poorly, so I'm enjoying all of that. Now, as far as the actual the threat that's in this, you know, not 100% sure on that. And with the person who's writing it, I'm still suspicious when we get to like an end of a story or end of an arc, how it's going to all play out, because that's always been the weak point for me. But I do like this comic better than Batman right now. But there hasn't been as much introduced in Batman. Batman's been kind of a different kind of a thing, so we'll see. I ultimately figure when it all comes down to the end of this arc and the end of the Batman arc, I'm going to like the Batman better, just out of suspicion because of track history. Like Eddie Barrow's artwork in this. He's a great
that's
great superhero artist. There's some weird moments in here where stuff is painted by the colorist instead of just normal colors, which is odd. Not sure what I'm supposed to make of that aspect either. If you want to hear me ramble a lot about that, go watch the last comic book roundtable, because I kind of went on and on about that for a while. But yeah, Batman Tech Comics. After changing the battery, we are back with Doctor Strange, issue number 9. Last Days of Magic, Part 4.
I have enjoyed this book all the way through. I loved dapper Doctor Strange at the beginning, and then, you know, this whole thing has been pretty tragic. What I liked about this is that he finally finds out about his monk army that's been taking all of his magical damage.
Yeah, the batteries that have been sucking up everything, right? Which is now gone. He sent them all away.
Yep, and the thing in the basement.
We kind of know what the thing in the basement is, not really, but a whole bunch of anguish and anger. I don't know. For me, this issue, I love the art as always. I felt like I missed something, like there was an issue somewhere in between as part of this arc, but I've been told by everybody that there isn't. But it just feels like the last issue we're gathering up stuff, then this issue we're gathering up stuff for a little bit, and then suddenly I don't know, we're suddenly in Tibet, we're suddenly getting ready to, I don't know, it just felt like there was some piece was missing. And as much as I'm enjoying aspects of this comic, I kind of want this whole Last Days of Magic to kind of get over with. It doesn't feel very impactful. I would feel like that if I was reading a book that was telling me that all the magic in the universe was going to be gone, that it'd feel like it'd have some more, oh, this is horrible. And I don't know. I mean, it feels all kind of whimpery. It doesn't feel that urgent or that significant to me in reading it. You know, I don't know if the guy with the top hat dying was supposed to be like, that was supposed to be, you know, supposed to draw me in. Oh no, this is so tragic. I don't know enough about that guy to be, you know, for that to be tragic or anything.
I felt sorry for the girl whose stuffed animals have been talking to her and being in a magical
sure.
with her.
So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I want to say I'm enjoying I like the character, like the way it's written, love the way it's drawn and whatnot. It started out interesting for me, and right now I just kind of want it to be done.
This arc, yes.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying. It is very long. It's been very longer.
Yeah. So, and this issue just made it feel longer to me. I think next issue is the last issue, maybe. I hope of that. See what goes on after it. Next.
Yeah.
Flash, issue number 1. Right up front, Flash is another character like Aquaman. I just don't have a whole lot of interest in the Flash. He's fine in stuff, but I never have had the desire to I'm trying to think. This is the first issue of The Flash I think I've ever purchased.
Wow.
Have you ever read a Flash comic before?
Nope. Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I think this is the first Flash comic I've ever bought. So, it was okay. I wasn't super excited by it. It was another book that was better than the Rebirth issue, just because it's starting to take on its own storyline. To me, there really wasn't much to this book until you get to the very end. Then you have a moment of, oh, what's going on here? When one of his friends gets zapped.
Oh, right, gets potential.
I mean, I know what the storyline is going to be of this book, so I know what's coming. And I don't know that I'm interested in that, to be quite honest. The basic the storyline is going to be is a whole bunch of people are going to get tapped with the Speed Force, and a whole bunch of them are going to be able to be the Flash. Some of them are going to want to use their powers for good. Some of them are going to want to use their powers for bad, and some of them don't want anything to do with their powers whatsoever.
Oh.
So.
Okay. So pretty much like anybody using
Superpowers. Except they're all Speed Force.
Right.
So it's all clearly going to be connected to the Flash because of that stuff. But I don't think the Flash is that interesting of a character anyway, and now you're going to give a whole bunch of people the same power as him, then he becomes even less unique. I don't know. I don't know if that's an intriguing story. It just diminishes the Flash, right? And then there's characters in this I'm not sure what I'm supposed to know about them or not know about them. I mean, because even when I don't read a book, I have some kind of a sense of what's going on, just because of everybody else who does read the books and,
Sure.
and the internet and whatnot. But like this other Wally West, who of course they show him wearing a costume here, but he doesn't in the thing. The best of my knowledge, right at the very end of the Flash from the New 52, he had just discovered his powers and nobody else knows he has them yet.
Oh.
But in this, clearly he doesn't have, I don't know if he has them yet or doesn't have them yet, and what that's going to mean. So I don't know. This is a book that's definitely, when I don't have the discount, or I decide this is too many books to read and I start buying them not in a bundle, this won't be in it.
Yeah, and you're saying so many flashes that's going to take.
Uh-huh.
That makes me think of the quote from The Incredibles: "Everybody's special, and that means nobody is."
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we don't really need to talk. I'm with you.
Right. This is written by the same guy who does Birthright and Nailbiter.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with his writing. We're just not huge Flash fans.
Right. So, yeah. That's your assessment too?
Yep.
It's Flash. Who cares? We don't even watch the TV show. It's the only superhero TV show we don't watch. Well, that and
there are
Agents
actors
of
that I
S.H.I.E.L.D..
really like.
Ms. Marvel, issue number 8, with the overstated Civil War number 2 on the cover.
Yeah, I don't care about Civil War. But
So I think.
I really, we all know that I love Ms. Marvel.
This issue.
This is feeling a little bit Minority Report, and I can see where there's going to be some kind of problem later on. You're going to catch somebody before they commit a crime. That's a very, very, very gray area. I mean, so far so good with this. But just now she, at the very end, she's bursting in on someone that she knows. And, it's, Minority Report is, I feel like a monkey's paw type story where this is where things can go really wrong if you let them. Because you don't know for sure that someone's actually really, just because you think about it, doesn't mean you're going to do it.
When all else fails, buying a Philip K. Dick book to give yourself a storyline, right? So yeah, I mean, it definitely is that whole. That's what the Civil War is about. I mean, that's the whole conflict of the Civil War. Is there, Ulysses, this character Ulysses, is able to see the future in different ways, and so why not? Why not stop it before it starts? That makes perfect sense. On the most simplest of terms.
Right.
And of course, that's how she takes it at the beginning, the most simplest of terms, and then she has friends that kind of point out the fallacy of that, the potential, what does that really mean, kind of a thing, and taking away civil liberties before anything's ever been done.
Exactly.
all of the ugliness is there. And then yes, and of course this, it takes it personally. I don't care about the Civil War and whatnot. This was an okay, fine issue. G. Will Wilson does a decent job of, okay, I'm being saddled with having to tie this into the greater picture.
Right, so we're going to make it a
so I'm going
small
to.
story in,
Right.
and I appreciate that she's
Right.
not, you know.
Because she's not a big time person. She doesn't deal with big time crime and
Right, she's just trying to take care of her
little piece, her little
part
burg
of
of
the
Jersey.
world. Exactly.
Right. So it was fine for that. I mean, part of me would be interested in a serious story. Not this wasn't serious, but a serious story about her because, of course, her like ultimate role model is Captain Marvel. I mean, she's called
And
Miss
Captain
Marvel for a
Is
reason.
the one who is asking her to do this.
Well, it's not just that. Then she is on the all new, all different Avengers, and like her mentor on that is Tony Stark, is Iron Man, and that's the two people that are in conflict with each other.
Right,
That's
right.
the ultimate conflict in the regular Civil War book. It's those two in conflict with each other, and so where does that leave her? And so that, to me, that is kind of an interesting question as to, you know, how does she deal with that? You know, when you're the person you idolize, and it's versus somebody you talk with on a regular basis,
Sure.
you know, and is your mentor. What do you do?
Yeah, you
so
feel pretty torn. So
so I'll
we'll
be curious to see if we
that
get
happens.
that kind of a story in there or not.
And I do appreciate the fact that her sister-in-law is one of the people that is pointing out to her that what she's doing sounds like racial profiling, which is
Yeah.
really not done African Americans anything. And Muslim African Americans and
Yeah, yeah.
Muslims. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
she's just like,
Oh yeah, it's over the top.
she covers the whole
Right,
thing.
right. For sure.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the nod to contemporary things that
Yeah.
are actually happening.
Yeah, and Ms. Marvel's a good enough book that despite it being clogged with the Civil War stuff, I will keep picking up.
Okay.
And there are other books that I'm dropping because they're getting plugged into the Civil War, so which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Good.
Power Man and Iron Fist, issue number 5. Get to read a whole bunch more fiddle faddle
And there's another one, I can't remember what it is now, do something, I don't remember.
right.
Anyway, yeah, I love, I
Sweet
like
Christmas.
it.
It's a funny book.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable book.
Yeah. So, another artist on the book again. Last issue had a different artist on it. This one has a different artist also. But this artist, Flaviano, his art looks serviceably kind of like Green's, and with the colorist on it.
Yeah, it didn't throw me for a loop or anything.
Right. So that was fun, and this as well as just kind of fun stories where you get to see a story told from multiple perspectives to try and figure out exactly what really happened.
Yes.
You know, that kind of a thing, and it was just fun. It was just kind of a ridiculous, which is what I like about this comic. It's not super serious. It's not telling something that is necessarily some sort of a serious look at society right now, or are delving into pop culture in some way or another. They're just telling a fun story and having a fun time
Just
with
so
it.
we know, if you have a flying car, make sure it has seatbelts.
Seatbelts, not just a
Don't just need a roll bar,
Yeah.
don't need a safety bar, you need
Yeah.
seatbelts.
yeah, for sure. Unless you're driving, then probably it's not so bad.
Yeah, that does
But
see how.
there's just lots of fun stuff in this. I love like when because this has got a radio show that lots us being talk radio, and when Jessica Jones is at home and she's listening to the radio and she's like, oh my God, don't these guys know it's live? Because they're fighting like two old married couple. You know, it's just ridiculous them ranting at each other and whatnot. But in the background, the baby's back there like knocking this giant picture onto her head and stuff in the background. There's just lots of fun stuff going on. And so it's just a fun book. It's a good laugh. Unfortunately, next issue it's going to get saddled with Civil War 2.
Really?
So I don't know what that's going to look like. Maybe they'll keep their vibe, like Ms. Marvel did.
Their vibe of getting the band back together.
Even though they have to deal with this other plot. How are they going to be? So Yoda is a book that's just a good laugh. This is a good laugh kind of a book.
It's an
Like I said,
enjoyable
it's not. I mean, I would have been happy to have gotten a Power Man and Iron Fist book, and it'd be really serious too. Because these are cool characters that you could do some really interesting, dynamic things with. But having them just be this kind of fun good laugh of a book is fine too. So, issue 13 of Robin, Son of Batman, final issue.
Yep. I like the dynamic of Robin and Nobody. I think that they're an interesting friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that much about his mom. But
Talia.
I'm just not. I'm not
Sure.
I'm not an Al Ghul fan. It's just the way it is.
Okay.
But I like their dynamic, and I like their friendship, and I like the fact that they're trying to educate the other son of a horrible tyrannical person.
Right. This is another family, just like the Al Ghuls, basically.
And what it's like to just be a normal, semi-normal human.
Right.
Like, it's dessert.
Right.
It's like, but I've already eaten so much. How am I supposed? I've taken so much. How can I take any more? And we're thinking, oh no, what's the problem? And then it turns out that
it's dessert. That's he's being tortured
ice
with
cream.
dessert.
Yes, the poor guy. He's gonna die.
So, so this is written by Ray Fox. He had to end this thing. It's a safe, kind of pleasant ending. I actually really enjoyed this, though, if nothing else, in the sense that he took what was given to him, because clearly somebody else was writing this whole plot, and then Patrick Gleason got pulled off to go do Superman.
Right.
So, and I think he did he made the best of what he was given, and I mean, I thought he did a good job of capturing Damian in some places here, like where Damian's trying to educate this other kid. Damian clearly has matured enough to recognize that this kid is basically living the same experience that Damian did, and that you can break away from it. You don't have to be this. You don't have to be what your family set down, designated you to be. And I kind of liked that message, and they did a decent job of it here, without it being so corny or heavy-handed to be unenjoyable.
And
so
not breaking Damian's essential character, which is
right.
Still
egotistical and all that kind of stuff. Still superior to everything else that's out there, but he has a good soul somewhere in them, and so therefore, and they did a decent job of showing that in this, and so I enjoyed it for that. Yes, and I agree with you. I like his relationship with Nobody. She's kind of a cool person to hang out with and bounce things around with and whatnot. We'll never see her again, I would assume. But you never know. Maybe we will. But I doubt it. And who knows if we'll see Goliath again either. I don't.
And I've enjoyed Goliath.
I have too, but I don't know that he's in this.
No, he's not a necessary
He won't be
part.
certainly going forward with the use of the character and stuff. But it's fine. Nothing super excited. I mean, if I was talking to people about this run of Batman and Robin, I'd say pick up the first couple trades that Patrick Gleason did. This one isn't a necessity. If you really, really like those and you're curious to see how it ends, pick up this one too. But I would never say, oh, this is a stand on its own.
It's not the essential Damian Wayne.
Yeah. No.
And I do love Damian Wayne.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next up we have Suicide Squad Most Wanted, the Deadshot Katana this is 6 to 6. This is the final of these two stories.
And I agreed with you. You thought that the Deadshot was a better ending than the Katana ending.
Yeah, the Katana basically for me, it kind of fell into, about halfway through it, it fell into some of the standard stuff, standard operating procedures and writing style of a book that was written about between 84 and 86, which was when Barr was on his probably at his peak. And he was writing Batman and the Outsiders that had Katana in it, and all of that stuff. It wasn't bad. It wasn't nostalgic, like Swamp Thing, for instance.
Yeah.
It didn't reach that level of anti-sequential art writing. But it still had some of that. It wasn't as sophisticated as newer stories tend to be, but I didn't dislike it. Really, but the highlight for me was the Deadshot story. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the way this ended. Buccellato, who I have criticized in the past, I question whether or not he can end a story, because he's done other stuff, like he's done a little bit of Detective Comics with Francis Manapul and stuff, during that whole Icarus drug run thing and whatnot. So I wasn't sure, if he could end a story. He ended the story really well, so I think he has writing chops. Maybe it was Francis Manapul that pulled that other stuff down that I've read that I wasn't so excited about the way it ended. I don't know, but I really like the way this ended. I like the fact that you know, I like Waller in this. She's still a ball buster in this thing. She lets him dictate some stuff.
Yes.
But I think she lets him dictate some stuff because she knows that's how she's manipulating him. It's not like he's really getting away with it. She's allowing it, kind of a thing. But I really like, I even like the way it ended, though, with Harley giving him the baseball mitt and glove.
Yeah.
And the baseball, you see the baseball flying. You know what's happening. They're doing another breakout.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he hasn't, you know, he's beating one of the baseball. It'd be my bet, you know, but I don't.
So he is Deadshot after all.
But I just really enjoyed. I just enjoyed it. I loved, you know, he basically has this duel to the death with the new Deadshot. You know, he's got these rules he has to play by, and he plays by the rules to start with. But he is so ruthless. The way he goes about playing by the rules is just brutal. He doesn't shoot to kill the guy. He wrecks his guns, so his guns don't work. So he's stuck having to break the rules himself, you know, to keep going. And I just like those aspects of it and stuff.
Taking a helmet off and saying, okay, you have to, yeah, that, I appreciated that.
Yeah.
It was a good story. My favorite part about the Katana story is that she has a cat, so.
Right. So that was fine. There is more. They're going to do another one coming up in a couple of months, another Suicide Squad Most Wanted. I can't remember who the other characters are. I'm going to pick it up. I just kind of like this format. So
stories. Yeah.
you know it's gonna, you know, it's a mini series, and I don't have a problem with mini series. So kind of like the format of it. So
yeah, I like mini series.
Yeah, but anyway, so next up is Ultimates issue number 8. Extremely heavy Civil War tie-in. This is the last issue of the Ultimates I'm getting. I dropped it because I knew this was coming, and I knew it was going to be bad, and ooh, it's really bad. I mean, I don't think you need to read Civil War. You can just read this, and you get what happened in the Civil War issue, who dies, who's wrecked, and who dies in the Civil War issue. You get that in this, and then you get some kind of more background of the people who have angst and upsetness over that. The only thing that's in this that's not in the Civil War thing is we do get the to see why and how this team was created, the Ultimates, because we never found that out. Just all of a sudden they were already the Ultimates and doing their thing, and we see that, of course, the U.S. government is spying on them too. The NSA has got some ability to spy on them, and they're supposedly manipulating what's going on.
And you know, I don't even remember reading this. I know I did. I don't remember it. So it obviously made it.
Well, I know you don't care for this book. You haven't anytime you've read it. You kind of always put it at the bottom and go, really, should I keep reading this? And I always go, well, you don't have to if you don't want to. And then you go, oh, it's there. And you read
I know, and well.
Because it's got the Galactus issues.
There are people in it I like, though. I mean,
America Chavez.
Yeah, I love her.
She's awesome. That's the reason I got the book.
Yeah.
She's
I love
barely
her,
in it.
and you know, I do love Captain Marvel. I think Carol might be misguided with this whole.
Sure.
But.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm not. Well.
I'm not anti any of them. I like them all. Actually, all the characters.
What I was going to say is we've skipped event books before because they get frustrating, and so I don't mind skipping event books. Then.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about a diverse superhero team?
Yeah.
This team is extremely diverse.
Yeah, because you have Black Panther.
Well, you got 3 African American characters in it.
Well, one's not African American. He's African.
Oh, African.
Well,
I'm sorry.
He also spent time in America. I don't know. He's dual citizenship, maybe.
Okay.
He's a king.
Okay, there are four of the 5 people in this thing are of color.
Oh, there you go.
The one person who's not of color is a woman. One is bi/lesbian. I don't know that we've 100% squared away if America Chavez is straight up lesbian or otherwise. I think she is. I think she is straight up lesbian. Not that any of those things come up in the story at all.
And not that they matter, but it's just nice to have. I mean, they matter. They're things that matter about people.
Well, visually looking at them.
We like to have.
They look like the freaking Avengers.
We like to have. Yeah. Oh. What, where the only color is green? And only sometimes?
Yeah, but see, Marvel actually uses that. We have diversity in this team.
The Hulk is green?
We have some green people.
That's diversity? Are you kidding me?
Well, that and the Vision. He's green, too.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure at some point Dan Didio for DC has made the same jackass statement, too, so.
All right. Well, anyway, yes, I appreciate the ethnic diversity and the fact that we have somebody who is not straight up hetero. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, but
And like I said,
The-
I like the characters.
right,
but
but you don't remember the book.
That
And for me,
particular
and for me, it
one,
just
no.
it got. I mean, it's Civil War hammered. Like no, I mean the other ones are, Civil War stuff's going on in it, but they tried to tell their own story. This, other than like 4 pages of the NSA stuff, didn't even try to tell its own story. It was just literally from everybody I've heard talk about Civil War, because I'm not reading it, but all the other reviews of Civil War I have read or watched.
That's pretty much a regurgitation.
Yeah, that was this comic. So once again,
Very.
changing a memory card, because of course we can't seem to stick it all on one card. We're going to talk Wonder Woman. So hopefully that transition wasn't horrible. Going to Wonder Woman. Issue number 1, written by Greg Rucka, art by Liam Sharp. Shame on me for not talking all the other people who create all the other books that we've been talking about. But I like these people, so I'm going to say their names.
Sounds like a plan.
Anyway, so we have the first issue of Wonder Woman set in current times,
Yes.
where Wonder Woman is basically trying to figure out who she is and where she's come from and all that, because
Which story is the real origin story, because
Right.
she has been fed way too many things. She doesn't know what's what anymore.
well, it all seems to be not exactly, and she can't find Themyscira. So she
That's
is
kind of
on.
a big deal.
So she is on a mission to discover that, and she decides that she needs help. So she's off traipsing through this jungle in some country, which we're not exactly sure where it's at. Kind of get the feeling, kind of like it's like the Congo or something like that. That sort of an aspect.
It has
Some place
that
that's
feel.
very war torn, that's got bad people controlling the country and whatnot. She's in this country looking for basically a goddess, is what she's looking for.
Right.
And she, as she's traipsing through, she comes upon the worshippers of this person. One of the things I really like about the book is she has this kind of grace that Wonder Woman lost when the
When she
Finches
was the god of war.
when the Finches took over. She lost that grace.
Oh, so yeah, we didn't really read the.
Right.
So I have no idea what was going on.
Where she gives them warnings, right, and follows through when they don't listen to her warnings and whatnot. So you get some great fights there, some beautiful artwork in it and stuff. But she's actually seeking an adversary, somebody that she's normally at odds with, to help her out, because she's she's that desperate to try and figure out what's real and what isn't real. So we get this wonderful aspect of it and whatnot, and then we get kind of the other aspect of the whole modern part of the telling of this, which is we have Steve Rogers.
Yes. Meanwhile, back in
Steve Trevor. Rogers is Captain America.
Yeah,
Steve Trevor
anyway.
is in the country that she's in, unbeknownst to each other that they're there. Each other don't know that they're there.
And
He's
they're
there.
trying to figure out if she's there to help with what they're there to do, because
Yeah, he's there on special ops to deal with some warlord or whatever. And they get radioed in that she's there. And of course they ask him, because he used to be a liaison. I mean, clearly in some sense that's actual real history. He has some relationship with her, or had a relationship with her in
had
the
a
past.
history with her.
He doesn't anymore, he says. He does not know what she's up to. He does not keep track of her. He does not tell her things.
But he does keep her picture that he downloaded from the internet, right?
No.
No, they're
No,
on the internet. But that's
He has
his
the original picture. He has the original picture of probably when she first showed up in America, because it's a mugshot.
Yes.
It's got the line
she's
bars
smiling.
behind her. She is smiling because she's having a good time. That's
Yeah.
back before the world of man made her bitter.
So tell everyone what's cool about that.
See, well, he pulls up the mugshot. And what's really cool is, of course, the artwork in this is all Liam Sharp. He has a definite style, his style and whatnot. The mugshot, which is of the past, is drawn by Nicholas Scott. It's
And that's-
pure Nicholas Scott artwork, and
and
Nicholas
that's
Scott, of course, is going to be writing the even numbers of this book that is set in the past, back when they first meet each other, and she's first coming off of the island and going to the land of man. So yes, it's just a beautiful little way to do that, to keep
Yes.
they could have just put him, draw a picture of her looking younger or whatever, not that she ages, but that's the perfect way to do that when you're working with two artists in two different times. It's the perfect way to have that in there.
Yeah, it's really good.
Etta is really interesting. They got Etta Candy in here again. This is a new version of Etta that I've never seen before. Best of my knowledge, she's never been an African American woman. That's interesting. She's been an agent before. Clearly, she's a higher level agent. What's going on here? She's actually a director of some sort. Interesting, fascinating. Down to the fact she's got fingernails and she has E's painted on her fingernails, which I thought was curious. I don't know if that's just a some quirky thing the artist put in, or if that's going to mean something significant later on.
Not
So,
just the first letter of her name?
yeah, it could be that, but why? Why?
Why do people wear initial necklaces?
But why put that in the book?
I guess we'll find out.
That's what I'm saying is.
Yeah,
It
I
could
don't
be
know.
nothing or it could be something. It's just something I saw and I was curious about.
And I didn't see,
Why
so
did they,
I'll have to go back and look at it.
why did they put that there? You know, it just seems, you know, I mean, does that say something about her style and who she is?
Is that she's-
Cool if it does, but I'm curious to know more about what that is and stuff. So they're working in some of the old traditional mythos of Wonder Woman. You know, they're folding it in, but of course doing something maybe potentially a little different with the two. The other thing I really like about this, despite on the cover here showing her carrying weapons, she's not carrying weapons in the book,
Yep.
and she uses her lasso, which I think is a thing that's been neglected heavily in the last year or so.
And while I'm okay with her having a sword, I love the lasso. It's like my favorite thing.
To me, the sword makes no sense whatsoever.
Because she doesn't need it.
She's basically as strong as Superman. I mean, for most things that she would need a sword to cut through, she could literally take her hand and karate chop it with enough force and probably break it in half.
All right. Good point.
You know, unless she's using it to cut her steak or something. I don't know what would be the point.
All right.
So, anyway.
I understand. I think it just looks cool.
Yeah, well,
That's why people like it.
I guess. I guess.
But I understand what you're saying. So what do you think of the costume?
Oh, the kind of retooled costume, so it's got a little more of the leather lookingness to it, armor looking to it. Looks kind of like the Wonder Woman costume in the movies, you mean? Is that costume you're talking about?
Yeah. Like she's wearing right now.
Yeah.
She was kind of taking things off and
That's in the Rebirth issue. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, whatever, the Rebirth issue. Rebirth issue, like most of them. I actually like it. I mean, as a whole, don't get me wrong. Truth be told, I like the stupid swimsuit with the stars, the star spangled, the blue bottoms with the white stars. Linda Carter can rock it, so can the comic book.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a problem with
understand.
that. But as far as something looking a little more
Like she
Grecian
came-
or
like she came
Amazon-like.
from the Amazonian
Sure,
island.
sure. This is fine. I like it. Matter of fact, I even like it better here than I like what's here because this is more loincloth. It doesn't have quite the amount of ornament in it. But I like the fact that it almost looks cloth instead of armor. The skirt part of it, you know, it's a leather bodice. You know, some metal aspects. I like the fact her bracers are not bracelets. They're full arm protection, you know? So to me, that would be more realistic if you were going to have to wear armor, which, of course, she doesn't need to wear freaking
No.
armor.
She doesn't need to
But if
know.
she's ever going to do the
Yeah.
bracelets and tiara thing, these make more sense as far as that kind of thing goes. But no, I do. I like it. I mean, I like it. I like it just fine. You know, the colors are back to being what they need to be. I'm happy they did not try to put her in pants again. Just things that I didn't think were necessary. How could you miss that? That E is
Oh
just
my
so
gosh!
freaking.
I guess it is very prominent.
I mean,
I
she's
probably
looking
saw
at
it, but I just wasn't.
she's looking at
thinking about
this
it, 'cause I was
video
looking at the footage.
of Wonder Woman, but there's that E. That's just one of the things I just thought was curious. But this is gorgeous art. I love this first picture right there. She looks like some piece of Grecian artwork. She doesn't look that way all the way through the costume, all the way through it, but right there she looks pretty cool that way. But I'm digging this. Some crazy ass. The glare and whatnot, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what the second part's going to be. I'm curious and excited to see the even issues, which of course the Nicholas Scott set back at another time. How the two will work together, or is it going to literally feel like I'm reading two different Wonder Woman books?
Gotcha.
You know, will the two interweave? How much will the two interweave, or will I be getting a Nicholas Scott, Greg Rucka, a Wonder Woman book, and a Lehman Sharp, Greg Rucka Wonder Woman book, which I'm fine with too.
Sure.
Two Wonder Woman books with exciting art like this,
Oh, yeah.
and if nothing else, this issue and what happens at the end of this issue and who we're engaging is exciting.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
I was
I'm okay with
surprised,
two.
so.
I'm okay with two Wonder Woman books. If that's how it ends up feeling. But I have faith that Rucka's got an idea of how he's going to make this work,
Yeah.
and then it will pan out.
Yeah. I've not been disappointed in him, so that I can remember.
Veil.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever read by him that I have not liked. So.
All right, so
All right. Yeah, that's it.
thanks for watching if you did.
Yeah, all the way through, all the changes, batteries and whatever
Memory
else, and
cards.
it's getting dark, losing my life.
So, good place to stop. Maybe we'll see you next week.
It's a small week, because next week's the 5th week of the month.
Oh, yeah.
So it's weird. Anyway, till whenever the next time is, have a good one, everybody.
Bye.